Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's not Corona. On today's episode of Kory Explains the Universe, Kory will be discussing you 2020. Hi there. My name is Kory Stewart, and today we will be discussing Fuck You 2020. I apologize for missing a week. The quarantine has thrown me off. I'm awake all times of night and sleep during the day. I'm all over the place. It's also very difficult to make jokes or laugh about things that seem funny when life is normal, but when people are dying and the world is struggling and doctors don't have things and our president is a piece of shit, me coming on here talking about herpes doesn't seem that funny to me. What could I talk about that I think we could all agree is amusing without seeming forced or made up for the sake of keeping up a quota of weekly videos? And the best thing I could think of was 2020 has really sucked. From January 1st to right fucking now, even if this is viewed in the future, 2020 is a piece of shit. We start off the top of the year with the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter. And yes, 7 other people in the helicopter, but I don't know them. They were not famous. They matter. It's all equal if I have to get that PC shit out the way first. But now that I've said that, Kobe Bryant and his daughter died. It was a very shitty day. I remember sitting there next to a young lady who is a huge Kobe Bryant fan and having to tell her the news, watching her face be crushed with the news. I tried to do research to make sure before I started to spread rumors, which most of you pieces of shit don't do. Tupac Shakur was on the helicopter, apparently. I did research to find out who was actually on there, and I waited until the news was official, and it sucked. It fucking sucked. That day sucked. That week sucked. The weeks after sucked. The All-Star game sucked. The memorials suck. Not they're all good and the tributes are touching and wonderful, but fuck.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I love you guys.
Then Trump, if you forgot, I know it's April, but remember, Trump murdered a person. He had that Iranian general guy assassinated.
Qasem Soleimani.
We were this close to war. Trump blew the guy up, and then they shot a plane out the sky, and it was like, all right, shit's about to get real. It didn't happen yet. We're too busy with other shit, as you know. I'll get there. In case you haven't been paying attention, a very small if you're in America, but if you're in Africa, the locust swarm that took place.
Desert locusts are eating their way across large parts of East Africa, and it's the worst outbreak some countries there have seen in 70 years.
We know Africa has crops, but we also know they're dry as a motherfucker, so they kind of need their crops.
The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization is raising the alarm, now calling for international assistance.
Something else you may have forgotten about that happened in 2020, the Australian brush fires. I believe brush fires, the fires. That shit was burnt the fuck up. All those koalas and kangaroos on fire.
The first port of call obviously is just fighting this fire, and because that is a volunteer organisation, they'll be focusing on that. But there are a wide range of causes as this thing stretches out for months and years that will still need ongoing support, and that's where the dollars are going.
They had that really weird map that made it look like the entire continent was on fire.
Now, many different images have been used to show the scale of these fires, but we need to be careful about what we think we're looking at. You may have seen this image. It's been very, very widely shared, with a lot of people claiming it's a satellite image. It's definitely not. It's a visualization that's based on NASA data from across the last month. So where you see different parts of the country glowing, that represents any area that's been affected by fires since December. So it's a stark image, but it's definitely not a moment in time.
And yes, I said continent. Stupid motherfuckers say country, not a country. Continent is bigger. Continent is 7. Anyway, the corona thing is such a large story that I don't even know where to begin. First, let me just say, I have to admit my fuck up. I said this in a previous episode. I'd like to take a second to have an educational moment for anyone who doesn't truly know what this is. It's essentially a mild disease. It's like a cold or the flu. They've been comparing it a lot to the flu, except it kills way less people than the flu. So go get your flu shot. How wrong was I, right? I own it. I own it. Not like the president. Not like the president.
With the flu, on average, we lose from 26,000 to 78,000 people a year, even more than that in some cases, some years. We haven't lost anybody yet.
If we could hold that down, as we're saying, to 100,000, it's a horrible number. Maybe even less, but to 100,000. So we have between 100 and 200,000. We all together have done a very good job.
What? The fact that clearly America, the richest country in the world and the best country in the world, can't keep up with the disease. Maybe you talk about how because of democracy, we can't get all the states to do one thing and put all their people in the house. While China and North Korea and South Korea and all those places can say, get the fuck in the house, and people go, okay, because they're afraid they'll die. I don't want that here, but I'd like a middle ground perhaps. Maybe we can get on the same page? Like the asshole in Atlanta who's like, I just learned yesterday this was the thing.
What we've been telling people from directives from the CDC for weeks now, that if you start feeling bad, stay home. Those individuals could have been infecting people before they ever felt bad. Well, we didn't know that until the last 24 hours.
He was new to that, even though they had already talked about that apparently on January 31st.
You know that in the beginning, we were not sure if there were asymptomatic infection, which would make it a much broader outbreak than what we're seeing. Now we know for sure that there are.
Maybe I talk about the fact that Trump keeps making shit up. Scientific evidence needs to be vetted. People need to go through a process. You can't just say shit. Now you have everyone trying to take malaria medicine because they think that's the cure, when really it hasn't been proven it's a cure. I heard someone, because I was wondering, I said, why can't we just take it? And someone said, well, because there was no controlled experiment. These people who took this medication were in different hospitals. And so, because some people can handle the virus a little differently, and some people have no symptoms at all, and some people may have gotten different care, you have no idea what contributed to the people who took the medicine getting better. So you can't say that medicine made them better. Unfortunately, people will die long before you can legally say this medicine is working. Then it doesn't help that black people are feeding into all, and I'm only gonna say black people, because that's who I see on my timeline. Sure, there's a bunch of crazy ass crackers in the corner somewhere, but black people are feeding into so many conspiracy theories about whether or not 5G towers are causing it, or this was the government doing it, or black people are immune. Remember that? Remember when you couldn't catch it, you stupid niggas? You got it. You fucking got it now. I thought I was immune. I was at the party. And I'm not pointing out anybody directly. This isn't that like this is in general. People I see who are basing so many things that they're hearing from uneducated pieces of shit as fact. Theory's fine. Theory is nice. You can use a theory because theories just have to be proven or disproven. They're not facts. They're just theories. But you can't base your life on a theory. You can't base the way you do things on a theory, which is why you can't take malaria to cure the goddamn disease. It's a theory. You could be a piece of shit and listen to Umar Johnson, who now suggested that you don't use your coronavirus stimulus check of $1,200 or whatever. Don't use that until you get reparations. What the fuck is he talking about? That wouldn't work. But he doesn't know that because he's a piece of shit. And if you like Umar Johnson, you might be a piece of shit. Yeah, I'm here, baby. I'm here with the smoke. Fuck Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson's a black piece of shit who only says really harsh, racist things that sometimes will sound good, has a good message in it, and then he'll spit out some bullshit that just ruins the fucking message.
Peace and black power, family. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong Consciousness, Dr. Umar Johnson, just sending out a black power, peace, protection, and security to the entire African family across the globe as we deal with this CIA-sponsored biological weapon known as the coronavirus. My first podcast released today, and the title of that podcast is the Top 10 Reasons Why the CIA and the Global White Power Structure Released the Coronavirus. It is a subscription-based podcast. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, it's the Dr. Papa Podcast, $9.99 a month. You got to sign up for it. It's the only way you can get it.
He's sitting there trying to get everyone to get money so he can do online schools. You know why he's doing online schools? Because that money for the physical school must be fuck Umar Johnson. I'll be back for you, you ugly piece of shit. But alas, that is not this episode. This episode is about 2020 being a piece of shit. Unfortunately, we lost Bill Withers, who made great music. And I'm not saying that he's of value because he made great music. That doesn't make him necessarily special. It just means that he connected with people because of his music, and so more people are upset. I am a fan of Bill Withers. I'm an old man at heart. I have gray hairs, they're coming. And damn it, I listened to Bill Withers Friday and had a good time remembering all the songs that I love. I even discovered a new song that I played all day. This shit is great.
Watching me, watching you. Girl, I believe that it's true. That it's your love and me. Makes my life a paradise.
Surely 2020 can only go up from here would be the normal thing to say, but not really. There's so many more people that's gonna die. There's so many more stories that are going to happen. Eventually this will clear and Trump will have more to say. Then you have to pick between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. 3 old white men in their 70s who are waiting to die from corona could be your next president or your continuing president. People who like Bernie are gonna vote for Joe Biden. People who don't like socialism are going to vote for Bernie. So Trump's going to be your president for another 4 years, unless he does something else, which makes him do an impeachment trial, which also happened in 2020. Until May, probably June, I suggest you go online and buy cheap airline tickets for July and August, because that's probably the only time we're getting out of here. So until, we're back at it, pretending like, we're special and arguing with each other all the time about the differences as opposed to the things that we have together. Until all of these things happen and you're free to go back out into the world, back into your social circles that all agree with you and nothing else outside of what you think can be correct, because I got 6 people here who agree with me. Until all of that shit happens and you're stuck in the goddamn house, make sure you get online, you better yourself, you learn things. You saw my top 10 list. Do that shit. Do your resume, get your life together, because when this shit is over, we get to go back to our normal lives, live a little, and hopefully appreciate it a little more. But until then, you're stuck in the house. So the only thing you can truly do is educate yourself.
And I mean, I like music, but I'm not going to place my whole worth on it. You know how unhappy you would be if you thought that the way you are is not okay? I started out my life like that. I don't want to end it up like that.